Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Markus Morning Radio Show, the unmuted, the unadulterated, and the unremarkable. No, fuck that last one. The unbelievable. Man, this shirt makes me look thick. You know, black is a lot more thimming than green, you know. But it's not my favorite color. I don't like black. Wait a minute. Taken out of context, that's horrible. I don't want to wear black every day. Green's my favorite damn color. You know, you can't go wrong with green. Look at that. I got a whole wall, accent square, green screen. It's part of my life. Exner's sunny. Good morning. Oh my goodness, it is Sandy, and how the heck are you doing? I love black. I mean, I do too. Obviously, every shirt I wear is almost a black color, but there's something about green, y'all. Green is truly one of my favorite colors. Be it trees, be it the forest, it's a beautiful, beautiful color. Have you ever seen seaweed? That deep green. Well, today is January 12th of 2023, and you have found yourself once again at the doorsteps of a Markus Morning Radio Show. It is a prime plumbing privilege and pleasure to have each and every one of you come here and hang out and listen to all things news, politics, talk, and entertainment. Today we have quite a few doozies. Not only are we talking Twitter, we also got a crazy thing that hasn't happened since 91 during the, not riots, the, hell no, we won't go. Why can't when the FAA workers went on strike, we're talking about Disney losing billions. And then, of course, as you guys know, we're talking about you and to you and listening to some freaking great tunes. So, all right, we're getting started. You know how it goes, man. Like an old diesel, you got to get it going. So for everybody who is here, thank you so much for being here. So first things first, y'all. Twitter. Now, granted, let's get all the details, because on its surface, you'd be like, holy crap, this is such a big deal. What's going on? Blame Elon. Get angry. No, that's not what we do. Because this actually happened last year. But Twitter had 235 million email addresses hacked. And they were just on a hacker message board for free. People could just go get them. Black market fire sale, right? You get all the ones you want. And you would think, holy crap, that's a big deal. Now it is. Don't get me wrong. Companies have as big as Twitter, Facebook, they get attempted hacks every moment. They have entire $1 million divisions specifically for cybersecurity. Because why would you not, if you're a hacker, try to go after the biggest tech companies in the world? Okay, these things are just bleeding money ships that are they got so many holes in them, and coins are just shooting out every single one of those holes. So what people want to do is they want to get that cheddar, man. So ultimately, though, a lot of times whenever you hear about this huge hack, right, like, U.S. bank hacked, and a lot of times what gets hacked is the very surface level information, the stuff that is the least protected because it is the closest to the consumer. Right? The closer you get to the consumer, the harder it is to keep it safe. Because ultimately, nobody can shop in a store if the doors are closed. Right? Like if you want an operating business, you have to have a threshold of entry for the general population. And part of the general population, unfortunately, is crime. Crime is there. Crime is part of it. And crime is part of our life. There shouldn't be, but unfortunately, people still feel it okay and necessary to steal. It's a shame, but it happens on all forms, from the lowest to the highest levels. But anyway, so what happens a lot of times when you have these big, huge hacks of these tech companies or of a company in general? A lot of times what you get is our information, ironically enough. Now, what they're really good about protecting is financial money, right? They're really good about protecting our credit card numbers. They're really good about protecting our addresses and our names usually, right? Like a lot of the more personal information, because they're legally required to. That's part of them being allowed to operate and run a business. Twitter has to protect users' personal data. Now, do they always do a good job? Absolutely not. But that doesn't mean that they don't try. So anyway, back to the story. So personal emails linked to 235 million Twitter accounts hacked some time ago have been exposed, according to some people. All right. But the thing is the only thing that was stolen so far that has been released is email addresses. So, right, like bigbootyjudy@email.com. Now, you got to think, how many people are signing up with their real emails? Okay. So a lot of times when you get these big hacks, it's kind of like the lowest tier of information. It doesn't mean it should happen. It doesn't mean that Twitter shouldn't have let this happen. But you also got to think as a user of the business, right? Like as users of Twitter, are you properly utilizing all of the security features that Twitter has to offer? Or do you not have two-factor authentication because it's bullshit and annoying? Yo, I am in that train of thought. Who has a throwaway email because they know that you have throwaway emails? You have to do these things to protect yourself. It's not just Twitter, big Papa Mama Twitter, who has to keep my balls safe because if they don't tell me to, I'll just run outside naked and dip them into a snowbank. Okay, like at some point you have to understand what you're doing. If you're on the internet, there is inherent risk. If you're driving a car, there's inherent risk. Okay, I am not giving Twitter the pass here. They failed to secure their borders, and this is what happened. 235 million of people's information got out there. That's bad. Even if the information is tough to use, it can still be used. Where do you think these people who send these scam emails and send these scam phone calls get that information from? Okay, if they stole 235 million, they're hoping they get 200. Okay, so if they scam 200 of those 235 million people, their mission was accomplished. They did their job well and they're happy and proud about it. And I guarantee you those 200 people are probably the elderly or the confused. So that's why it matters. That's why it is up to Twitter to also be responsible and make sure that this stuff doesn't happen. But us as a culture, us as a society, us as the users of these companies, we also need to do our part. We make sure that we don't just put all of our personal information that can be stolen onto the internet. You have multiple email accounts to protect yourself. You have to be smart, because if you're not smart, bad people will take advantage of you. And that's not what we want. You're too important to not take care of yourself. And one of the best ways to take care of yourself is to become educated. So Twitter, you need to tighten up your belt a little. Now, granted, under Elon, we'll see how many of these happen, which probably will be little, even though he's probably being attacked. Twitter's being attacked more than it has in a long time. I do trust in his technological prowess. I really do think that Elon has the ability to make Twitter, or continue to make Twitter, that much better. But for us as the users, we can do better. We will do better. And at the end of the day, y'all, it's Twitter. Use it for what it is. Don't put yourself at more risk than you need to. And go hug your kids, for God's sakes. Also, enjoy this music. What's up, News? How you doing about that? You give me comfort, say just give it some time. By the end of our talk, I'm feeling just fine. You and I will always know where we belong. This ain't no ordinary love we got going on. I'll pick you up in my 59 Ford. We head on down the road until we get bored. Just you and me and the sun and the wind. If the rain should start falling, we'll head on home again. Everybody else can see where we belong. Oh, ain't no ordinary love we got going on. At the end of the world, together forever as one. And I'll wait if ever you should be in doubt. And I'll pray they never can pull us apart. And I'll wait for the time
feel better every day. The troubles I had have been washed away. I'm cleaning up my act and moving on. In the silence of my room, I'll sleep all night and get up at noon. There's nothing to distract me in my dreams. Like a pillow on my face, no one can hurt or invade my space. I still walk the streets with my head high. And though I wonder where I'd be if no one had helped or remembered me, I know my own will has got me through. I know why I should try to find out why I feel so high. There's a comfort to be found when you find out there's no one else around. Set your mind off track and lead you on. And though I wonder what I'd do if you hadn't told me to see it through, I know I could make it without you. I know I should try to find out why I feel so high. Coming up again to get a breath of air. In the water everything is fine. Now we'll stay in here until the day is through. For a while I like to feel the buzzing in my head. I know why I should try to find out why I feel so
Whoops. I always forget to turn that damn thing off. That was I Know Why by Greta Greena. That's quite the name. And before that, we had No Ordinary Love by Dom Austin. Oh, Dom, I bet you have quite an interesting dating life. Anyway, we continue this journey as we're joined by legendary people such as my brother from another mother, Noobster. Thank you so much for being here, enjoying the show. But as they say on the theater, the show must go on. And I'll tell you, as a former pilot, as a former flyer, as a current bald man, this one hits me home deeply. Does any of that make sense? Doesn't matter. But yesterday, I don't know if you guys heard this, but for the first time since 1991, all U.S. domestic flights were grounded as key FAA system goes down. Now, let me tell you, that system is known as the NOTAM, NOTAM, or the Notice to Air Mission System. So what you have in our modern world is a dependence on technology, right? Now, granted, has it made us better? Of course it has. It has improved everything from our drinking water to how efficiently we can travel to how we light our homes, heat our balls, and all of the above. Ball heavy today. But ultimately, technology is not at its core bad. It does improve our lives. The problem is what happens when you become too dependent on that very technology and it breaks. You, for the first time in, 32 years? However long 91 to now is, all flights were grounded. That means if you were at the airport about to fly off to grandma's house, you ain't doing nothing. And you know why? Because of a hardware update. So they forgot to update their iTunes, and look what happened. No, but ultimately, and lies the problem with ultra dependency on tech. Okay, is all of these pilots know how to fly. They have been trained to fly without technology. That is the redundancy of humans. Because ultimately, we do have the technology that humans don't need us no more, or airplanes don't need pilots. Okay, the tech is there. But the problem is technology fails. So we believe in humans more because, one, we have the ability to overcome and adapt. Okay, if we get an arm blown off, we can tell our brains to be like, no, you're good, and push through, right? We have chemical systems in place that are illogical, and therefore we succeed. That is what makes humans great. That is what makes humans powerful. Are we as efficient as computers? Of course not. Because we're able to do so much more than just one thing. Well, anyway, with that being said, so all these pilots know how to fly. That's why when this system went down, all of a sudden you didn't see airplanes nose diving towards the ground. Because ultimately what this is a system that sends out a notification of impacts, bad weather, turbulence, you name it. This is the message board of bad news when it comes to flights or being a pilot, right? That's the nit and gritty of it. This is where if you experience turbulence, you put it in the computer and you tell them, hey, at 10,000 feet going northeast, 121, I experience medium turbulence. And then other pilots know, okay, I better go around this because I'm in a little airplane, boy. And if I hit that, I'm going to break in half. So ultimately, there is it's for safety. It is 100% for safety. But I tell you, there was a time before this system existed and airplanes also existed. So in a world where we have become so unbelievably dependent on technology, why have we lost the ability to adapt? Why are we getting so complacent with there's one way? There's one and only way to do something. It drives me crazy, and I have been seeing it more and more lately. This idea that, well, is that the right way to do it? And it's like, there's no right. What do you mean right way to do it? Because they're not talking about, is it efficient? They're not talking about, is it cost effective? They're not talking about, is it safe? They're talking about, well, has somebody already told us what we're supposed to do? That's what they mean when they say, well, is this the right way to do it? And that drives me up the wall. That drives me absolutely insane because you don't need permission. You're not a child. Okay? You don't need permission from the government. You do. And that's the problem. That's where we've gotten. That is where we've gotten. They've trained us so well to think, do I have permission to do this? Yes, because it's you. You thought of it. Are you going to go steal from someone? Are you going to go burn down a building? No, unless you're trying to build a shed. You shouldn't have to think, do I have permission to build a shed on the property I pay $2,000 a month for? Come on. This is what I'm saying. We have gotten so trained to be these freaking mouse in a cage doing nothing with our lives anymore because we either are too intimidated to start because of the cost, the government restrictions, the whatever, or we're just too tired. I don't know what it is, but I promise you it all comes from one singular idea that people say they're free while not living a free life in any way. You drive, you're concerned about getting pulled over and getting in trouble. You shop, you're concerned about getting either paying too much or, I'm telling you, there's a concern there, and it goes back to regulation, right? You can't find what you're looking for because of regulation. There's only 3 fucking companies that make baby formula, right? That's because of regulation. Now, granted, there's a point where, yeah, you can't put lead chips in baby formula, but we're way past that. We're basically to the point now where if you didn't make a company before the regulation existed, you can't start a company. It's wrong. It's wrong, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. And this right here, this FAA problem, now the system going down, one, you put all your eggs in one basket, one system, NOTAM. Okay, no redundancy. This is the problem. If you put all your eggs in one basket because there's only one way to do something, an entire industry gets shut down because a 2 was a 1. And that's wrong. And that's where we've fucked up. So I encourage all of us to get back to going back to rule number 1 is to never panic. I've said it my whole life, and I'll say it till the day I die. If you panic, you already lost. And shutting down every single flight in the United States is a panic response. Go back to the fundies, go back to the basics, keep the world turning, because humans have the ability to push through anything and everything. That's my thoughts and opinions on that.
I'm not heading for the stars, driving down the boulevard at night. Playing Coldplay on repeat, watching people on the street as I go by. And it doesn't even matter to me where I go, I just feel I need to take a ride. Got my coffee cup to go, and I'm gonna hit the road tonight. Now my wheels in motion and my windows open with the wind blowing in my hair. I'm driving down the highway, gonna do this my way. I can feel it in the air. Here I as the sun goes down. No, it doesn't even matter to me where I go, just feel I need to take a ride. I don't know when I'll get back, keep on going and relax tonight. Now my wheels in motion and my windows open with the wind blowing in my hair. I'm driving down the highway, gonna do this my way. I can feel it in the air. Here I I'm not heading for the stars, driving down this boulevard tonight. Yeah, playing Coldplay on repeat, watching people on the street as I go by. Now my wheels in motion and my windows open with the wind blowing in my hair. I'm driving down the highway, gonna do this my way. I can feel it in the air. Here I go.
I spent my rambling years. I paid my sins from the poor traveling days. Oh Lord, please, can't you hear my prayers? So I rode my body up the mountain, to a place where I can sit my rocking chair. I rode my body up the mountain, and I'm never going back again, I swear. Most likely the son of mine will be found in the mountains where I'm born and raised. I paid my duty as the sunny side cutie. Oh Lord, hear the sorrow in my heart. I rode my body up the mountain, to a place where I can sit my rocking chair. I rode my body up the mountain, and I'm never going back again, I swear. To a place where I can sit in my rocking chair. I rode my buddy up the mountain, and I'm never going back again, I swear. Rode his body up the mountain. I rode my buddy, rode his body up the mountain. Of the month, right up into orbit, my chicks they all abound. A land earth thinks a problem, a brain being overdue. What possible solution? I haven't got a clue. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, it's all that matters, all I pray, just to feel good at the end of the day. I've loaned on my possessions, all that I can claim. I ain't got a single penny to my name. My neighbor says he's bothered by what I cannot see. Says that I can launder falls what gold should be. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, it's all that matters, all I pray, just to feel good at the end of the day. Feel good at the end of the day. At the end of the day, you gotta feel good at the end of the day. It's all that matters, all I pray, just to feel good at the end of the day.
All right. That was the 3-song session. You just listened to End of the Day by Robson Carver. Up before that was Up the Mountain by Jürgen Hellberg. And Here I Go by the Wildflowers. Man, I'll tell you, the music is so nice. I know it's probably better for me to just sit here and talk, but it's not what I want to do. It's what everybody else does. I'm giving you something different. I'm giving you something new. Okay? Because not only am I the world's okayest brother, boom, I am also a man who knows some stuff about things. And if you have any idea about the things I know stuff about, it'd blow your mind. I ain't bald on accident. You got to trade the hair for the knowledge. And I've full tilted into that world. Okay? Because as I look for these, gotcha. As I look for these articles, I don't just pick articles. There's two parts. I pick articles that there's a resolution. I don't want anybody's opinion. I don't want anybody's assumption. I don't want this might be happenings. Okay. I wait for the evidence because everything before it's been proven is just a lie. And you know me, I don't lie here. So I'm looking for truth. I'm looking for something that has a beginning, middle, and end. And on top of that, I also look for something that doesn't necessarily affect the individual as much as it affects the whole. Okay. And this to me is one of those big, this affects the whole ones. Okay. Because in 2022, Disney lost over $120 billion. $120 billion is so much money. That is more money than a lot of cities' yearly budget. Like a functioning, active city. And when you think about a company like Walt Disney that actually owns multiple cities, it makes sense. But the idea, now listen, this is why it's crazy to me, is that we as a country in the United States have companies with GDPs, right? If you think that Disney is in its own ecosystem, its own economy, you're a fool. Disney is accountable to the laws of the land, barely, but most importantly to Disney. Because if they make a product, they produce the product, they ship the product, I'm telling you, Disney has paid for roads to be constructed. Disney has paid for plants to be constructed. They have done infrastructure. They own power plants. They own sewer companies. We are a nation that is united federally and at the state level. And we have companies so powerful that they actually rival the very country that it lives in. And that to me is quite an interesting situation to be in. Because if you look at other nations that have, we'll call them developed nations. A great example is it's that beer company I don't remember the specifics, unfortunately. But there is a nation, and basically it's like 25% of its GDP comes from one company. And it's the oldest company in the country. And it essentially, that is the nation's money, is that one company. I can't remember what it is. It's an old beer company, though. Heineken? I believe it's Heineken. So Heineken, that is an example of a nation where one company kind of rules all and works in coexistence with the government. In America, we have several companies that are, in terms of financial status, completely, they don't need the government for all intents and purposes. But in the U.S., this is the wild part. The government has essentially become all powerful, because what it makes me think of is a part of this $120 billion loss for Disney was they went to war in Florida. They thought, the hubris of Disney, as much as I was just talking about how big and beautiful and brilliant Disney is, in terms of I never said they were a threat to the U.S. government, because it got proven something unbelievable. We live in a nation where our federal government is out-moneyed by the companies, and they still don't even stand a chance when it comes to fighting back, which is interesting. I kind of lost my train of thought in terms of where not train of thought. My point shifted. I had one idea, and as I thought about, holy crap, even a company that can just swallow 120 billion and still be what they are, they have no chance against going against even one state, not even the federal government, one state. And Disney is across the globe, an international company that can swallow 120 billion in 1 year, got bitch slapped by one governor. If that doesn't show you who you should focus on in terms of, everyone's like, fuck these rich people, man. They aren't even in the wheelhouse of who has control. Okay, these rich people, all these 1.01%, all the people we hate so much, not me. I would love to be a rich person, and I'm working on it. But ultimately, they can't even blow a fart towards the government. And without the U.S. saying, you want to try that again? But why do we put so much attention here? Why am I talking about Disney losing 120 billion? And instead, I should be talking about how a company like Disney, who can lose 120 billion, is a cliff note in the power that our government has against us. Because ultimately, if Disney can't fight it, what the hell are we supposed to do? We're supposed to live our lives, is what we're supposed to do, in spite of them. That's what it is. Because they are not many. We are. And the only way that they control us is through fear and fear. Fear of getting in trouble. Fear of having our lives ruined. Fear of loss. Having our children taken away. Having our homes taken away. Being audited. Everyone's scared of being audited, even though the chances of you being audited are astronomically small. Everybody's scared of being arrested, even though the chance of you being arrested is astronomically small. The government is the best and worst thing that is in your life. And because that is true, it's important to stay informed on what they're doing. And this, ultimately, Disney losing 120 billion, that's what happens. You fuck around, find out. You make stuff for people who don't want to buy it, they ain't going to buy it. This is just business. If Disney has a bad year, it's 120 billion. Okay, if Billy's sub shop has a bad year, it's minus 2,000. Either way, these people are having a bad year. So in the economy, the up and downs come a lot, man. The up and downs come and go. It's not about Disney losing 120 billion. It's about why they lost. But more importantly, it's about, this is a cliff note in the true reality of what is going on in our world. So don't only focus on Disney losing 120, because they wiped their ass with that much. I mean, that's a lot, but still, this ain't the important stuff. So after this video, we don't talk about this anymore, because we got important stuff to focus on. Don't you guys forget it.
Under the city lights, dear, you're so pale, but when the light falls, conversation feels so damn near. While we're watching purple skies and planes, my sweetheart, maybe I am in a dream. I wish to stay in sun. without you. We're too far apart. I need you close. Purple skies and flames, my sweetheart. But maybe I am a dream. Purple skies and flames, my sweetheart. Maybe I am in a dream.
Past the point of no return, baby, on the summer night. A shot of love and a spark of love to breathe. The stars align and the month times night burn like a dried out leaf. Are we leaving on the next train, baby? I do believe. Come on, let's ride this train. Come on, let's ride this train. Now I ain't missed a 9 to 5, I don't hear it in my song. I'm gonna pull my weight, don't get me wrong. Brand new start and a whole new part, they are big old shoes to fill. I'll be there on that platform, babe, you know I will. Come on, let's ride this train. Come on, let's ride this train. Now nothing is this rush of life, you'll never find its match. So you live to be a million years. All hearts are lost by default in the time of a single beat. We're leaving on the next train, babe. So take your seat. All right. Oh, come on, let's ride this train. Yeah, come on, let's ride this train. Oh, come on, let's ride this train. Oh, come on, let's ride this train. Let's ride this train now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are back, and that was Ride This Train by Robson Carver. And before that was In a Dream by Keanu. Let's go. Oh, Keanu Bone. It's his cousin. Oh, Lindsay forgot the camera is right there. That was all fun and all fun. Let's go. Man, as time flies like it always does, we find ourselves coming to an end of the Markus Morning Radio Show. We talked about all kinds of great things today. We had Twitter on the hook. We had Disney. That ended up shifting real quick away from Disney into government accountability, right? And then we also talked about the FAA being too damn reliant on technology, and ultimately we just got to get back, y'all, to the basics, the fundamentals. Okay, we got to know how to cook. We got to know how to clean. We got to know how to fly without a machine. You know what I mean? It's not that hard. It's not that. Damn, I couldn't. It's not that brass. So get out there and kick some ass. I was trying to make a poem. But unfortunately it didn't happen. But anyway, y'all, we talked about a lot of good things. We got brought up to date on some new things. And we made sure that we shared each other's time in the best way possible. So as this show comes to an end, don't forget, you know, the Marcus Morning Show comes next in about 15 minutes, where we shift gears. We talk to you. We talk about what's going on with you. And ultimately, just have a damn good time. So Trey, thank you for being here. I think you have me confused with a moron. Because if that ever worked on somebody, holy crap, they are a moron. But I do appreciate you being here more than anything else. So hang out. The next show's coming. It's going to be fun. We appreciate you for who you are, who you want to be, and who you're going to be. Don't go nowhere, y'all, because you know what's after this. Much love. We'll see you soon.
Say no, I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. You should go and get out, I'll make you quit it. Someone like you should worry about, maybe it's you who's upside down. And I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. Ooh. Outside of this box, who cares about your posts? I know they're only fake. Show us what you own and how much money that you make. Yeah, I know that you're trying to fix me, but I don't wanna be like you. Keep your stupid job, pretend that you're the person you wanted to be. And you're dying not to work, but work until you die. And you're dying not to work, but work until you die. You're dying not to work, but work until you die. You're dying inside. Say no.